Hello, my name is Joel Asherton, and here is a quick, brutal review and impression of Sifu. The game about beating up people in a Kungfu revenge fantasy.
If you're not on the list, you're not getting inside.
The game follows the traditional beat-em-up formula of running around through a place from place to place, beating up anyone who stands in your way. With Kung Fu. And just like Streets of Rage or the good old Street or Fighting Force, it does it magnificently well. And whenever you build up the meter to fill the rad, you can do a finisher. And unless it's a special enemy or a special mini boss or the actual level boss, you will essentially just instantly instantly finish them, because it's a finisher, it's a takedown. And to demonstrate something here, right? Every time you take too much damage, this happens. You die. And the amount of times you have been knocked out increases the amount of years you lose. Special takedowns decreases the number. And of course, around the world you will find stuff to pick up to make beating up people more manageable, even if side items are perishable. Also, getting the first strike on an enemy that is unaware is really good. So from the logic here, right, is that everyone will attack you at any given time. And they will be relentless. You have to parry, duck, weave, and if you successfully beat people without taking damage, the multiply level increases, and which also increases the point score, which is needed to permanently unlock more combo skills. Of course, that means you can do things like throwing bottles at people. So as you can see, currently my counter is at 3. So I will lose 3 years every time I get beaten up. In the end, once you reach 70 or above, you will get less health, more damage, and you will eventually get knocked out. You will eventually only take 2 or 3 hits to get knocked out, and then nobody can. And then you will just have to restart the level and lose your progress. Unless you get enough experience to permanently unlock something, like charge back fist and such, right? Let me see here, you need 500, you need to use 500 times 5 points in order to permanently unlock this skill, for example. Which makes things a bit easier. Ironically enough, something the game is not, it's easy. Also, you have, from the get-go, you have a bunch of combos. So essentially you just move the stick towards the enemy you want to punch, kick or brutalize. Also, speaking of special enemies, you see this one? This one has like an extra bar. So, and the yellow thing is the... Once that fills up... Oh, never mind. Once the yellow bar fills up, the character... you can do a takedown. It cannot be interrupted, which is great, cause... Being hurt during a finisher is not fun. Now, one of my biggest complaints about the game would probably be that it needs a bit more... they could use more audio when it comes and be a bit more visceral. It's it's a bit too clean, and there definitely needs to be more voice lines. And also, yeah, if you screw up the sequence, you get hurt, and you increase rage. So the concept is simple, really. Get good and repeat, rinse and repeat until you become a true Kungfu master. Let's see. Now that you fill up with the red bar, you get a knockdown, and that now next time I fail, I will only lose 3 years of my life. And yes, as you keep losing, you get older and frailer. Of course, around the map there is stuff like this where you can unlock, for example, health gain during takedowns, maximum reserve, weapon proficiency. And on the skill tree, I haven't unlocked everything because it's not an easy game, right? And I haven't quite gotten around to complete it yet. But you have cool things like catching bottles in mid-air. Oh, for example, this one is a cool one, but it needs a lot more points. It needs a lot of shitload of points. Just like this one, or this one. So what the game really wants you to do, right, is play almost perfectly through every stage in a row, upgrade the skills, then start over from the beginning again and permanently upgrade even more skills. And eventually you will unlock everything and also get good enough at the game to pretty much play through all of the stages without getting seriously hurt. So like I said, one of my biggest complaints would be that, well, combat works as a charm, hectic, brutal, and have to be all over the place with a few voice lines. This just could use more fluids. It's too dry, and the option settings doesn't change that. Yes, can change some settings here and some settings there. You can even put it to mono sound. But yeah, it's fun, it's fluid, it's fast, it's furious, and trust me, this is not the game for everyone. Especially not for petty game journalists from America that is more concerned about race than they are about gaming. Also, takedowns replenish health. Ideally, you don't want to take any damage in the first place, you know. So yeah, I still haven't quite mastered countering. And as you see, your hair damage increases, health decreases. So I suppose eventually the ultimate challenge of this game, right, is going to be to see someone play through this game without taking damage as an old man. Or a woman, because you can choose the gender on the start. So the game starts off as you're playing as the villain you are going to beat up.
What are you doing?
What am I doing here? I'm beating the I'm beating up people. The combat is brutal and everything, but it just feels it could be a bit more juicy. Because the same takedowns over and over again, it gets a bit stale in some ways. Of course, not all enemies are equal, and due to the nature of this other game, you need some really big, burly boys. Who can grab you if you don't hold... if you don't use back... you use blocking back. Of course, you can still just... Of course, around the level you will find some NPCs here and there. And sometimes you can even find weapons and unlocks like shortcuts. But by completing a level, you can gain keys that allows you to open certain doors, which gives you more stuff. So yeah, this fighting business is literally killing the character you're playing as. Of course, I am not playing very good here, but this is... but you see it... oh, it's... right, and speaking of stuff like that, right? Some things can be destroyed, and actually you you find weapons here and there. Oh yeah, or you know, you could just break it for fun. That's physics. Of course, when it comes to weapons so far, you have a sticks and a mighty stick, and you have another, and you have a pipe. You probably also find a staff and some other Kungfu stuff, but weapons, like these old games, have durability. Oh yeah, of course you have a baseball bat. This is just another version of the mighty stick. The cool idea is that if you hold down the button, you can do different sort of swipes and counters, and you have combos, and more combos. Finding all of the hidden, all of the extra weapons around is not an easy thing. Of course, you can also knock people off edges. Because reasons. Everybody was Kungfu fighting. And important placement and not getting cornered and surrounded. And also paying attention to the man with his glowing hand. So at the moment I don't have any counter when I am down on the floor, so I can only hit the trigger. So for example this one here, this costs, so you can only roll away, but there's his span point here and pointed there. No, it is permanently unlocked. Because if you fail a level, you're gonna lose all of those experience points when you start over again anyways. So if you don't have enough to actually unlock a skill completely, the funny thing though is that enemies can actually hit each other with baseball bats and such. And yeah, I'm now at age 68, which means I am now old and weisen. With wisdom comes power. So if we go like this, right? Now I'm suddenly age 77. I'm a frail old... Of course there is a bit of an exploit that is doable. That is, if you hit the left bumper, you activate a focus mode, which slows enemies down, so you can see exactly what they're planning to do. So it gives you a little bit more time to react. Of course, every level ends up with a boss fight against a powerful enemy with 2 health bars and a brutal moveset. Unfortunately, there is, unlike games like Sleeping Dogs and what is it called again? Oh yes, like Sleeping Dogs, Fighting Force, and such, and Yakuza. There isn't a lot of items to actually to go around. So the logic here is, so right, I lost, so here you can see I lost I lost all the points I hadn't unlocked yet. All the points I haven't used up to a permanent unlock. The voice acting is okay, the graphic is cartoonish and moody. The environments are fun and well made. There is a bit of plot, there's a training mode. You have this obsessive wall of information you fill out to learn, so you can learn about more of the people you are fighting, you are getting revenge against. Of course you have training, you have a skill tree available from here. And as you can see, these 4 top skills are unlocked permanently. Unless you start a new file or delete the previous one. Naturally, the core of the game is a bit grindy, because in order to gain more points, you need to complete you should ideally complete each level in a row without taking damage to increase the score, so you can unlock more abilities and moves. But unlocking the abilities and the moves doesn't mean you will automatically win. But hey, that's just the game in its nutshell. My name is Joel #Chatron, and I'm signing out, and grab a t-shirt on the way out, and like and follow me on social media. I have lots of links down below. And I am a professional.